Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the daily discussion for the 6th of November 2014. 6 days to go. My name is Tuskeh, and today we shall be discussing two things, actually. First of all, an announcement, and then, after that, we'll discuss my top 10 World of Warcraft activities. Things I find myself doing a lot and that I enjoy the most in World of Warcraft. So let's get right down to it. So, first of all, I would like to announce a subreddit that I have created. It's reddit.com/r/Tuskeh. Now, this is going to act as kind of a forum for people who want to discuss the channel, the game, and really anything else with me and with anyone else who happens to be in the community that we should hopefully be able to build together. So you can use it to directly contact me and have a discussion in a more kind of reliable format than the comments of my YouTube videos, because comments are very difficult to organize and track because they're all over the place in different videos. So it's kind of a little bit awkward for me to have a proper conversation through them, especially if it involves more than one person. And with Warlords of Draenor about to hit, I feel like it's a good idea to get something like this rolling out, to get it sorted, so that people have a way to communicate with me outside of having to add me on Battle.net or wait for a reply to an email that I get a lot of, because remember, every time I get a subscription or a comment, I'm told on my mail account, and I've got obviously all kinds of other different emails as well. So it's a little bit clogged there. But this subreddit should allow us to have plenty of communication with one another, have a good chat. So that's going to be good, I think, and I will put a link to it in the description, and I will be advertising it on the end of my other videos, kind of like, you know, where it says like social media, and one of them will be join the discussion on Reddit. You can find it on the banner of my YouTube channel as well. Now, the rules there are pretty much just fairly simple, just, you know, don't be an asshole, essentially, and I won't ban you. So that's just kind of it. So hopefully that should be good, and we should have plenty of good discussions together, because I want to kind of create a community out of this. I know it's going to be a very slow process, just like creating the channel is a slow process. So hopefully this should get us started on that road, and I can get it sorted now before I'm really busy with Warlords of Draenor, so that's good. So, that's the Reddit stuff out of the way, nice and fast. Now let's kind of slow down a little bit and talk about my top 10 World of Warcraft activities. So these are kind of just things that I find myself doing often in World of Warcraft. They're often things that I do without thinking about it, things that I just do to fill the time, especially now that I've had some time to just kind of relax, not do any raiding while waiting for Warlords of Draenor. Haven't really had any content to do, so I think it's interesting actually having a look at what I've been doing with my time and the things that I do. So without further ado, these are the top 10 activities in World of Warcraft according to me. So, number 10 is tweaking my user interface. Now, I do this more often than I realize. Normally, I just set up a UI and then, as far as I'm aware, I would just leave it and then just do my thing. But the more I think about it, the more I realize I actually spend an awful lot of time actually tweaking my user interface quite a lot. I mean, recently I've just updated my UI quite significantly. As you can see in the background here, I've added new rings around all of the action bars to make it a little bit more understandable, to make it less kind of boxy. I've added a new thing for the chat box, and I've added kind of stuff on the right here as well. I've also added a new tidy plates theme. I've moved some of my weak auras and my quartz about, and I've done a few things with Move Anything to make things a lot less clogged, just in preparation for Warlords of Draenor, because I'm going to be doing all kinds of different things with quests and achievements and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's going to be exciting. I'm excited to do that, but yeah, the user interface is all sorted for that, and I never realized just how much I do it, you know? I just find that really interesting. And I do love overhauling the UI every now and then and just messing with things, and I find it's really interesting to customize my experience like that as much as I can. So that's number 10. Number 9 is running looking for raid. This one might be quite surprising, because you think, oh, well, bloody hell, running looking for raid, that sounds like a terrible idea. And yeah, it kind of does. But I find myself every now and then just saying, you know what, I feel like destroying the damage meters. I feel like just being a really powerful member of a raid team and going in there and helping out people and looking for raid. And, you know, every now and then I like to jump into the Throne of Thunder and get myself a little bit of a reputation with the Shadowpan Onslaught. And I just find it enjoyable. I mean, as long as the raid doesn't go absolutely terrible, sometimes I'll just go in and it'll be like, no, not right now, and I'll leave. But, you know, most of the time it goes pretty well, and I like just jumping in and helping people succeed. I talked about this in my being a responsible player kind of discussion a long time ago. That one got a lot of controversy back then. But, you know, I feel like it's a good idea to every now and then jump into an LFR and help people who don't have as much experience as you, who haven't had the chance to raid, who maybe want to. So that's what I've been doing every now and then, and it's very enjoyable. I have to say, every now and then it does actually turn out to be very enjoyable, which might be quite surprising for a lot of you, because I know that I occasionally think, no, I'm never going back to looking for raid. But hey, when Warlords releases, we are all going back to looking for raid. There isn't really a way around that, unfortunately. It will probably be a thing we just have to do. So there you go. That's number 9. Number 8 is fishing. Now, Hey, I don't care what people say. I like fishing, all right? I like fishing. I find it very relaxing. I often like to, because I have 2 monitors set up, I like to have something on one monitor, like something on Netflix or a video series that I like watching on YouTube, and I'll just fish for a while. And it hasn't been something I've done for a long time, fishing, which is why in the footage in the background you see I'm not actually maxed fishing. I was on my old account, in my EU account, but here, not so much, and I'm working on that kind of every now and then. I just like relaxing with a bit of fishing. I've been getting some reputation with Nat Pagel by fishing for the different rare fishes around Pandaria every day, and it's just something I find enjoyable. It's a nice little bit of the daily life that I like doing in World of Warcraft. It's got quite a lot of immersion factor to it as well. Your character just takes some time away from the battle, from the war in the Blasted Lands, and just relaxes, casts out a fishing pole, and just waits, and just enjoys himself, and just relaxes for a while. And I find that very enjoyable. So that's number 8. Number 7 is archaeology. Now, archaeology received quite a mixed review when it first came out, and it has been updated quite significantly since its first inception, but I think that where it stands right now, it's quite good. You can wander around Pandaria and dig up the various archaeological things there and then turn them in for other fragments from all of the other different kind of races, which is really good. I think that's a good way of bypassing a lot of the problems of, hey, if you want to grind Tolver archaeology fragments, you have to wander around all over Kalimdor and get other things. That was terrible. But I like the way they do it now, and it's quite relaxing. Again, have a second monitor on playing something else like Netflix or a YouTube series, and I just relax and do a bit of archaeology. It's been something I've been doing a lot recently, and there are an awful lot of achievements related to archaeology. There really are. So many things. Yeah, it's quite enjoyable, I have to say. It's been something I've been doing for a while now with Warlords of Draenor kind of just about to hit. I've just been keeping myself busy by doing that, and you'll notice in my last video that's actually what I had in the background. So there's that. That's number 7, archaeology. Number 6 is gathering transmog gear. Now, I love transmogging, I really do, and gathering sets to transmog into is really cool, and I just do it all the time. I'm constantly spending time figuring out what sets to get using things like Mogget and Atlas Loot, and I spend an awful lot of time every week going into the raids, getting myself locked out by clearing everything up, and just getting as much gear as I can, because now with the update to damage dealt to older content, it's quite easy to solo just about everything. I can solo Deathwing pretty easily. Heroic is a bit of a different matter, and I often have to call in someone else to help me with that, but most of the time I don't have a problem with it, so there's that. I definitely enjoy it. I love having all the different ways to customize the character, and I transmog far too much. I really do. But that's number 6, gathering transmog gear. Number 5 is achievements. Oh, achievements. Yeah. They're like one of the most addicting things in all of World of Warcraft, in my opinion. I love getting achievements. I love just setting my sights on an achievement that's just like any old random achievement. Like go and pet or / love these critters, or go and kill these critters, or go and gather these books, or go and kill this, or go and do this fight specially. And there's so many of them, and I find them really enjoyable to do. It's a great way to extend the lifetime of World of Warcraft, in my opinion, just finding different ways to play the game, different kind of achievements, and I just really enjoy it. I really love the different ways that you can customize your gameplay by going and doing things differently. It's the whole concept of going back and doing old things but doing them differently to get these achievements. Like for instance the Glory of the Raider stuff, that you have to do things differently. You have to interrupt this, or you have to make sure you never get hit by this, or you have to keep an enemy still in this pool of something. It's just things like that, and I find that very enjoyable. I find that very exciting to actually do. So that's number 5, achievements. Number 4 is raiding. Now, you know, that might sound pretty simple, and kind of is. I love raiding. I really do. And in a way, looking for raid is kind of like raiding, because you're in a raid instance, but it's not actual raiding. Actual raiding, in my opinion, is sitting down with a group of friends, guildies, and just smashing your head against a wall to beat a boss. And that is raiding for me. That moment when you first beat a boss, and you get him down for the first time, and you're just so happy because you spent so much time just getting it right. Just dying to all the mechanics, learning them all, and then getting it right. And that is the most enjoyable part of raiding for me, is the whole beating the boss for the first time. And I don't really care for loot that much. That's not why I raid. I raid because I love the challenge of raiding. So, yeah, it's just in all of its forms. Raiding has always been something that I've loved to do in World of Warcraft. And granted, it's not something I do very often. It's kind of a once-a-week thing, which is, you know, to be fair, once or twice a week I will raid. Not so much at the moment, but it will definitely be like that in Warlords of Draenor. But, you know, I feel like, even though I don't do it that often, compared to all the other stuff I do in WoW, how much I love it more than makes up for that fact. And that's why it's number 4, because it's just something I love so much. It's really the glue that holds my experience in WoW together, is raiding. because it's so enjoyable to me. I love the whole environment. I love just, it's like an evening, you know, you just sit down and relax. Well, not so much relax. You just sit down and play games with your friends, and you get challenging content done together. And that's one of the reasons I love raiding. There are so many different reasons I love raiding. I love making friends through raiding. I've made lots of friends through raiding. I've seen lots of great guilds through raiding. And it's a great way to expand your knowledge of World of Warcraft, is to raid with other people. And most of the time, they'll be better than you. And it's really great when that situation comes along, because I love raiding with people that are better than me, because they help me get better. And that's really another reason why raiding is so good, is you get to get better at the game together by smashing your face against the walls of these bosses, because they're really damn hard. Some of them are really damn hard. For the average player, Garrosh on normal mode, that's what it was during the time, was really hard. It took us about 100 attempts. That's what it took. Or maybe it was more like 70. Something around there. It was closer to 100 than it was to 50, I'm pretty sure. But damn, when we beat him, that was so great. That's the whole point of it. When we actually beat Garrosh, that was so wonderful. Just like the Iron Juggernaut Heroic, we put so much work into it. And it felt like at the end of the expansion, this was going to be our last Heroic raid. We got in there, and we went above and beyond as a team to do it. And that is raiding to me. And it's why I love it so much. So number 4, raiding.
Alright, Bear, come try.
Getting back.
Alright, I'm at 60.
Taunting.
Good. Know everything you have. Remember, just do it like normal. The fight is normal. And 30%.
I have this one.
Oh, I'm also lagging.
Doesn't matter, we're fucking doing this! Yes! 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 Yes!
Ah!
Fuck! We did it! Number 3, changing my transmog set. I said earlier, I love transmogging, and I would just like to point out that changing your transmog set is completely different from actually getting the gear to transmog with, because going out and doing old dungeons and old raids and old instances and all that stuff is very different from sitting in a main city and transmogging stuff. And I do that more than I do gather the gear. I have a lot of gear, well, I think I have a lot of gear on my character, and I spend so much time swapping it around, trying to find different combinations, using things like Mogget to build sets, and then, you know, prepare to create them, and I spend so much time doing that. My transmog changes pretty much on a weekly basis. I mean, I've got my Warlords of Draenor set ready. I'm calling it my Warlords of Draenor set so I can hopefully keep it, so I don't change it again. It's kind of understated. It's kind of a commando kind of vibe, with, you know, kind of stuff that could be used for camouflage, but also quite sturdy, easy to repair because it's not too fancy. That's the kind of thing I'm going for, kind of like the soldier, commando, elite kind of vibe. That's what I'm going for with that. But yeah, changing the transmog sets is such a great way to customize the character, and every time I see someone that's got the same transmog set as me, I'm like, right, I need to change it. I'll just pretty much drop what I'm doing and go and try and change it to become more unique. And that's the whole idea of it, isn't it? You will never become unique with transmogging. It won't happen because there's a lot of combinations, right? But there's also a lot of players in this game, and some transmog sets look really good, and when you go with them, it's pretty much inevitable that someone else has also got it. So it's the whole quest for uniqueness, I think, and that's something I aspire to. I like trying to have a unique transmog set that people will look at and be like, oh, that's pretty cool. And that's just it. I very occasionally get whispers that are like, oh, I like your transmog set, and that's it. But, you know, I'm always constantly striving to find that one transmog set that's just gorgeous, that will just win people's eyes, and that will just be generally cool. So that will probably never stop. That will probably never, ever, ever stop for me. But yeah, that's my number 3 thing, is changing transmog sets. I do that way too much. Number 2 is reputation farming. I love doing this. I really do. I love reputation farming. I do it pretty much on a daily basis. Just finding a reputation to grind out and doing it. And I know that this isn't something I can do forever, but it is something I love doing. I love just the whole grinding aspect of the game, because WoW is much less grindy than it ever used to be, and I love that fact, but there are still some really difficult grinds out there for players, and I do love a good grind. Lol, terrible jokes. But, you know, I love the whole aspect of just going to an old forgotten zone or constantly repeating an instance just to see that meter go up, and it is something that I really love to do. A lot of players don't like it, and I can completely understand that point of view, but sometimes I like just sitting there and grinding out reputation, and that's just something I love to do. I recently got the Cenarian Expedition and the Cenarian Circle done for that achievement, which to be fair is not that difficult, but there are some out there that I really love to just spend time doing. I've been spending quite a bit of time getting Emperor Shao Hao reputation, and hopefully I can get that done sometime in the near future. So that's number 2, reputations. And number 1, my favorite activity in all of World of Warcraft that beats everything else. It's something I do all of the time in World of Warcraft, and without it, I would not play the game, basically. It's really that simple. If I could not do this every single day as soon as I logged on, I would not play World of Warcraft. And that is social interaction. Talking with my friends. It's something that I use World of Warcraft for all the time. I use Battle.net to keep a list of friends, and I talk to them as much as I can. Every time I log on, I will check my guild roster, I will check my friend list, see who's online, see who may be up for a bit of a natter, and I talk to them all the time. And that's a really big way of how I gain friends. I spend an awful lot of time talking to people, and I love talking. Have you not noticed? I love talking to people, and I just find that World of Warcraft would not be the same without that social interaction. And really, it underlines everything else I do in World of Warcraft. It really does. I spend so much time tweaking the UI, running looking for raid, fishing, archaeology, gathering transmog, raiding, achievements, changing my transmog set, and grinding reputations, and all the other things I do. Almost always, I will try to talk to people during that time. So, it really cannot be beaten. This is a social game, and you socialize in it. That really is the bottom line. And without it, World of Warcraft would not be what it is. And all the different ways you can communicate with people. Those are the reasons why I play this game. Communicating with people, making friends, social interaction. It's really the reason I love this game so much. So there you go. Those are my top 10 WoW activities. So that will conclude today's daily discussion. Make sure you again check out the discussion at reddit.com/r/Tuskeh. You can make your own threads there and start to discuss things, and I will pretty much endeavor to reply to everything. So that should be pretty exciting. And before we leave, we shall have the piece of music for the day. So let us have a piece of music from Zul'Gurub, a bit of troll music today, I think. This is called Bloodlord Mandakir. Now, it's basically Mandakir's piece of music. Mandakir is the Bloodlord of the Gurubashi tribe. He is a very big, scary troll who decapitates his enemies. He used to actually level up off of your raid back when it was a 25-man raid. Or is it a 20-man? Or is it 50-man? One of those things. It was a raid, and he used to level up by farming your raid, which was really cool. And I never actually got to experience it, but, you know, I heard it was really damn cool. So that is what you can imagine while listening to this piece of music. Very dark, brooding, kind of evil damn stuff. Evil trolls being evil, basically. So that's the piece of music for today, and hopefully you will enjoy that. So that's it for today's daily discussion. I hope you enjoyed it and found it helpful. As always, if you have suggestions for topics or you wish to send me your questions to answer on the daily discussion, you can contact me using the links in the description, or you can just leave a comment. Make sure you join the discussion at r/Tuskeh. Thank you very much for watching, and I wish you the best of luck with your gaming endeavors.